the big change to the MacBook Pro, of course, is the Touch Bar, which apparently has a matte finish. Neither Ryan and I were invited to the Apple event, nor do we ever expect to be invited to an Apple event again. But people who did get their fingers on the Touch Bar said it was matte. You know, so it gives it a little bit more texture, a little bit less shininess. It's really interesting. The idea is that the buttons will change with the apps or the features you're using inside of the apps. You know, hands-on, people seem to think they make sense. You know, you can, according to some of the stuff, you can like rearrange buttons. You can drag buttons from the screen down to the touch bar, which I love. Just a simple idea with, because if there's a single feature you use constantly that's buried, you should be able to drag it down to the touch bar. Would be pretty cool. Yeah. Touch ID is going to be there so that the MacBook Pro will automatically power on when you hold down the Touch ID button. It's essentially a butterfly keyboard from the tiny MacBook that's been blown up, and a huge trackpad, which I am a big fan of the idea of. 4 Thunderbolt USB-C ports, a 3.5 millimeter headphone jack, which I think a lot of people were curious about after the iPhone 7 emerged without a headphone jack. You know, I am of mixed feelings with one. I love that it has more, you know, Thunderbolt / USB-C ports. That said, I really would have liked a nice USB 3.0 port, so I didn't have to use an adapter or another cable or buy another $60 in cables. You know, micro SD card slot would be nice, but I think those are going away whether you like it or not. 13-inch model starts at $1,500 with no touch bar. Comes with 2 USB-C ports and a 2 gigahertz dual-core Intel Core i5 processor, and a underwhelming but not particularly surprising 256 gigabytes of storage. 15-inch models get the touch bar, start at $2,400 for a 2.6 gigahertz quad-core i7 processor, 16 gigs of RAM, and again, a 256 gigabyte SSD and a 2 gigabyte AMD Radeon Pro 450 GPU. And if you want all of the shiny, you're going to drop $4,300, which is slightly more expensive than a Surface all in one. That'll get you a 2.9 gigahertz quad core i7, 2 terabytes of SSD storage, a 4 gig Radeon Pro 460, along with 16 gigabytes of RAM. So 13-inch model is available today, shipping next week. Touch bar models are available to purchase today, will not ship until November. I'm fascinated by the touch bar. I am fascinated by the Surface Dial. I have great curiosity as to which one of these will or will not, or if both of them will be heavily adopted by users. Right. You know, I think the MacBook Pro has some advantages in the sense that they will probably sell a lot more MacBook Pros than the Surface PCs, but there are a lot of potential Surface Dial users out there. What'd you think? Were you excited?
I think it's pretty interesting. Disappointed. I just read that there's no haptic feedback on that touch bar across the top. There's no a little, like, I don't know. It just makes sense to me, right? As much as it's right as it is a part of the iPhone now. I thought that would have been there. I think that the idea of the Touch ID is really cool. You know, if they integrate that with you know, apps and services and stuff on the Mac, that's going to be a big advantage in terms of just getting rid of passwords, and the benefits of that on the iPhone are substantial. Hardware wise, these are Skylake based parts. They're not Kaby Lake based parts, which is, again, similar to the Microsoft announcement. It's kind of, I don't know, it's, you either announce a little bit too early or you announce a little bit too late to get the right hardware in there. And there's no significant advantage to having Kaby Lake over Skylake, maybe, except for, you know, responsiveness and performance and stuff like that. So, but obviously Apple just decided that they didn't want to wait that long, or they had delays in other things that caused them to push back a little bit from when they originally wanted to announce these things. I think the capability of that touch bar looks awesome. I don't really need, like, they were very proud of like autocomplete on the touch bar, and that just seems counterintuitive to me. You know, hey, now you can put emojis in all your emails and stuff. But the success of it really comes down to the per application integration of it, and how the API works for people like Adobe and will Google implement stuff like that for its browser, right? All the stuff they were showing was using Safari. But will Chrome use it? Will Firefox integrate with it? Will Microsoft Word integrate with it? The other ecosystem, the rest of the ecosystem of applications is really what decides whether or not that gets used. Remember, Lenovo had a thing where they got rid of the function keys a couple of years ago. It wasn't nearly as complex or probably as well implemented as what Apple has done, but they eventually reverted back and restored the function keys. Different market, different customer base, different capability of accepting dramatic change, I guess, from those different markets as well. Screen looks great. The integrated Radeon, AMD created a new brand just for this product launch as well, the Radeon Pro for mobility parts, Radeon Pro 460, 455, and 450. Right. They're all Polaris based, fairly moderate performance levels. Right, 1.86 teraflops for the highest end Radeon Pro part, but AMD is obviously and reasonably, to be expected, proud of them being the GPU inside these machines that will no doubt sell gangbusters. It's expensive though. The models with the touch bar are approximately $400 over similarly spec'd systems from the previous MacBook Pro generation.
Yep.
So that's a lot. That's a lot to pay for a little bit thinner, a little bit lighter, and oh yeah, you've got this touch bar, LCD touch bar screen at the top that you're not sure how much you're going to like it, how much software is going to be integrated into it, that type of stuff. So interestingly enough, I saw that the maximum spec on the new Microsoft Surface Studio is $41.99, and the maximum spec on the MacBook Pro 15-inch is also $41.99, with very similar specs: Core i7, 2 terabytes, et cetera, et cetera. Nice little bit of carryover there. Although the GPU in the Surface Studio is definitely going to be faster than what's in here. So,
interesting.
Yeah. I'm not gonna buy one, but I definitely would like to get one and try it out. I want to be able to use it and see what it is. What it's going to be about. 10 minutes with it's not going to tell you whether or not it's a useful feature. It's one of those things where you're just going to have to use it for a little while.